Hello guys, so today we're gonna compare Luocha and Huohuo. Which one is better for your team? In this video we're gonna talk about how they perform, mainly in Memory of Chaos or MOC. What's their up and down when compared to each other, and which one that might fit your playstyle or team comp even. So let's begin. So first we're gonna talk about Luocha. Okay, Luocha is first of all really good with its big heal on the skill, right? And then has a buff remover on his ultimate, which can remove buffs on some bosses. Most of the time they can self buff themselves or get a buff from their minions and such. And then a great talent, which it can heal all team members when they move, like the healing field, which is pretty good. So yeah, I think Lucha also have that like emergency healing when the teammates drops below 50% or less. Lucha will automatically use the skill to heal that character without using a skill point, which is great. Also, what makes Luocha pretty good is because he's pretty skill point positive character. Like you can set up the field before you enter the battle with her with his technique, right? Which is pretty nice. But what's the down for Luocha? Luocha usually built with attacks because the healing unfortunately scales with attack makes him pretty frail if compared to other healers like Lynx, Natasha, or even Huohuo. And then Lucha also doesn't have a buff skill. He's purely there to remove debuff or just make sure that your team survive on the MOC itself. And then Lucha also only cleanse with his skills and the passive skill, the emergency heals, because it also have the same effect as the skill when it procs. So how good Lucha is compared to Huohuo in MOC? I mean, Lucha is still pretty okay, mainly for a bigger buff on a certain character, like probably if you play Lucha with preservation and then your tank can provoke, let's say like Fire MC or any preservation with Japard's signature Lycon, which attracts the enemy to attack them, like provoke, then Luocha could be a really good um, healer to put in your team. Or if you have like a high skill point usage DPS like Dunhang Il, like Inhibitor Lune, then you most of the time want to put Luocha there because it's skill point positive and it also helps you to manage the skill points for your DPS like Inhibitor Lune, right? And then what if we talk about Huohuo? What's the up of Huohuo? What's the advantage of using Huohuo? First of all, Huohuo is most of the time will be tankier than Luocha. Her heals also scales with her HP, which kinda sync in harmony with her build and her skill set. Also, Huo can debuff the enemy with her technique, like the first turn decrease attack from her technique, which is pretty nice. Also, Huo can both attack and regenerate your energy with ultimate, which is practically a semi-harmony abundance. Also, Huohuo can be a healer that save a spot in your team. Like if you usually use, let's say, Luocha and Tingyun, now you don't really need to put two characters in that team. You just can put Huohuo there and probably put like another sub DPS on the team to maintain the damage or like how you're gonna play with the turns on MOC. Give you some flexibility on the team building as well. But what's the down for using Huohuo? Huohuo cannot save you from emergency drop from the enemy. Like if your tank doesn't have like reliable provoke and then it suddenly hits your other character that's squisher, like let's say your nihility, your harmony, or your DPS even, and they get your DPS pretty low, Huohuo can't really save you right away like Luocha. That's why it's kind of tricky to use Huohuo because the passive itself also heals only when you move, right? And then Huohuo also use skill points most of the time to heal. So you cannot play her with like a lot of negative skill point characters like Imbibitor Lune or like Sile, right? So it's kind of tricky to use Huohuo with like really skill point hungry characters. Also, sorry, so pretty much Huohuo also dependent on her passive heals most of the time, unless you build her like pretty fast to get a turn significantly and then heals your team. The heals also doesn't heals like right away for everybody if you click on the wrong target. Because the other heals just spread out from your target, right? Because the heal doesn't heals everybody, but you have to target certain characters when healing to get the blast healing on the right targets as well, or like on everyone. So what makes you want to use Huohuo or Luocha? Or who is better in this case? Like overall they are usable and they also excels on their own niche, right? For Luocha, the niche is like the emergency healing, which is pretty good for like because um it heals your dropout member, like the low member, the low HP character right away, ignoring the turns. Also, if you use Huohuo, what's good about it is like you can also buff the team and get like energy regens for ultimate, which is pretty nice as well. So they're both really decent on their own field. And then at the end of the day, what you want to see on your team when you want to use them is depends on the team comp as well. Like what's your DPS, how is it gonna function better? Like if it's Blade, let's say, or Jingliu, they don't use as much skill points, then you can probably put Huohuo in there. If you use like Dongheng Il or Sile, they pretty much have to use skill to deal like decent damage. So you probably want to use Luocha in that team instead of Huohuo. So yeah, I think Luocha and Huohuo themselves also can be a solo sustain healer in the team. which is pretty nice. If you have both, then you can like pretty much put both each on each team on the MOC, because you're gonna use two teams on MOC, right? So yeah, what do you guys think about the Huohuo and Luocha usage? Do you guys agree with my opinion, or do you have any other opinion? Let me know in the comment section below. And that's it for today. You still have time if you want to pull over Huohuo as well. So good luck for that if you actually decide on that. And see you guys on the next video. Bye bye.